Good day, everyone. This is Awesome Radio, 107.5 FM, 1570 AM, WECU. You are tuned into the Glenn Johnson Show, Motivations with Glenn and Apostle Jacqueline Cullins Williams. Our topic today is part two of security questions, security answers, security passwords, and things of that nature. But first, I would like to go to some information that's very important for our residents here in Pitt County. Number one, Pitt County urges residents to confirm smoke alarms are working. The Pitt County Fire Marshal's Office and Emergency Management are teaming up with National Fire Protection Association to promote National Fire Prevention Week, which starts Sunday. I'm going to introduce my co-hosts at this time, who will read the rest of this document. Apostle Jacqueline Cullins Williams.
Hey, Dr. Glenn, and to our listening audience on today, we are glad to be here. We have quite a few things that we're going to give out to you on today, as well as a conclusion from our last week's show, as we talked about security measures with the computer, your passwords, and also some new AI information that we'll give out for you on today. And we also could possibly have a guest on today that we had last week, Mr. Muhammad. I hope he's coming today, but if he doesn't, we're going to push right on. We have a lot of things and good information on today. And as Dr. Glenn, said, the Pitt County urges residents to confirm their smoke alarms are working. I mean, how often do you go by and check your smoke alarm and see that it's working? Or, and I have a confession, Dr. Glenn, and to our listening audience, or like myself at my house, there is one that is beeping and has been beeping for quite a while.
Well,
So it beeps off and then it goes back on again.
But do you know the reason why it's beeping?
I know that it needs a new battery, and no one has taken the time to
Well,
get up
then,
there and put the new battery in there.
well, listen. If you know that, then it shouldn't be beeping because you should have changed the battery.
We should have changed it. And listen, Dr. Glenn, it's quiet all the time until you get on the phone or until you're doing something where you don't need that noise in the background. So it only goes off at inopportune times, but we do need to change that battery. And so I'm going to put in a order for my husband to get up there and change the battery.
Your husband, I'm assuming, is the maintenance man.
Is the maintenance man. The husband is always the maintenance man. That thing goes off at 3:00 in the morning. I'm laying there and I hear this screech sound, and it's going off at a weird time, 4:00 in the morning. And I'm like, really? Are you down there beeping at this time of morning? And it's been going on and off for a while, so I do need to get a new battery in there. So I know that he's listening, and so we just put him on blast on the radio. We need a new battery in the smoke detector.
As a former firefighter, it is very, very important to make sure that fire alarm is working, that fire smoke detector is working, and that you change the battery. And if there's something occurs, you'll be safe to get out of the house.
Definitely, and it's a sensitive one. I mean, when it's just, this is the one that's near the kitchen, so just smoke from the kitchen sets it off. If something is has gotten a little burn or is putting up a little bit of smoke there, it will be going off, and we have to go and fan it to get it clear so it can stop beeping. So it is just one of many. If we have a fire, we'll still be safe because we have other ones that are installed in the house. But this one, I think, is closest to the kitchen. Dr. Glenn.
Now, let me ask you a question. Do you have any fire extinguishers in your kitchen particularly?
I do not. I do not have any fire extinguishers. I used to own several of them, but I don't have any at this time. And really, it is a great benefit to have them just in case there's ever a fire. I guess in my mind, Dr. Glenn, I think that if there's a fire, I'm just going to call the fire people and let them put it out.
That's the right thing to do. But if there's a extinguisher in there, at least you can kind of minimize it before it gets to a larger situation. But if it's your kitchen, as a former firefighter, I would suggest you get a dry chemical because you can't mix water or any kind of other fluid with the grease fire. So if it's a grease fire, you have to choose a dry chemical fire extinguisher or anything in the kitchen because it's dry chemical. Therefore, it would extinguish the fire correctly.
Oh yeah,
But
and I know there
definitely,
are different
but definitely,
kinds.
yeah, but definitely dial 911 first.
Yeah, there are definitely different kinds of fire extinguishers, and people may not recognize that there are, and you can't use certain ones on certain kinds of fires. And I think even the electrical fire has to have a different
Absolutely,
extinguisher for that one as well.
absolutely, because electricity will conduct. I'm trying to think of the proper word, but I just got to come to mind anyway. Uh, it's very important that we check our smoke alarms, our smoke detectors, even if you have carbon monoxide detectors, check those as well. This is something that usually occurs when we change the time when the time changes. But they suggest the Pitt County Fire Marshal's Office teamed up with the National Fire Prevention for Fire Prevention Week to ensure that everybody's checking their extinguishers. We have a lot more to get to, so we're just going to browse down the list because we got 4 minutes till we go out to the break. Pitt County Schools approves installation of vape detectors to be used by the end of October. The source of that is WNCT. Jackie.
So you said they're giving vape detectors.
They're
Okay,
giving them, they're
they're
installing them.
installing them in the schools to make sure that no kids are vaping.
Yeah, I think it says, does it say high school or junior high school, something like that?
By the end of October, nearly 100 devices are being installed across the country. It says vape detectors for middle
Middle
schools.
school, yeah, junior high school.
Yes, so they're going to make sure that the kids are not vaping by putting these. It must be going to be in the bathroom, I think, huh? To make sure that the kids aren't using vapes, and that is something. It really is something. I mean, I don't know that vaping is that bad among middle school or kids at all. And how are you able to buy a vape? Don't you have to be an adult?
Yeah, I believe you have to be 21, just like purchasing cigarettes or alcohol. But I don't think anybody should be vaping. Can you just imagine? You might well just smoke a regular cigarette. I don't suggest that either, but if you're going to do something that's non-chemical related. That's got to be the worst thing to do. Could you imagine how many chemicals is in that?
Well, and my mind says that the vape is for people that have trying to quit smoking and then they start vaping as a way of getting off the cigarettes. And so, what does a middle schooler, I mean, how many years have they been smoking and now they need to vape to get off the cigarettes?
I was coming down the street. Somebody was in their car vaping. The I don't know. Well, you can't say smoke, but I guess it's steam. I thought the person's car was on fire with so much steam, or or, or what appeared to be smoke.
And that is that it could definitely happen like that when people are smoking. I've seen it in the wintertime when people would let their windows down and there's so much smoke coming out of there until it looks like their car is on fire. So, I could see that, but I'm just not. I guess it must be a big problem here with the vaping. And I'm not as well versed on it because I don't vape and I don't know anybody that does vape. But I did hear one time when I was in the presence of someone else that it has flavors. The vaping comes in different flavors. And these people were sharing a vape, and one was saying that they had never had that flavor before. So I'm thinking, why does it need to be flavored? I mean, I don't get the whole concept because I don't smoke and I don't have that or never had that particular habit or addiction or whatever you want to call it, however you want to use that, or pleasure of trying it. But I thought this is supposed to help you get off of the cigarettes. That's what in my mind what I think vaping is for. So we'll do some more exploring into that, Dr. Glenn, and maybe I'll come back and be more well
Yeah.
informed.
Well, we don't encourage anybody to smoke or vape. I would put it that way. We are Christian people, so listen. I don't encourage that for anybody. We have about a couple of seconds before we got to the break. When we come back, I'm gonna share a couple more local news documents with our listening audience, and then we'll get into the crust of our topic, and that is security questions, security answers, and artificial intelligence. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to have my co-host take us to the break. We'll be back in a moment. Jackie.
Okay, we're coming. Come on right back with us. We're going to ask that you call in today if you'd like to make a comment on, and you'll be live on the radio on today. That number is 252-756-2008. Again, that number is 252-756-2008. Call in and add in some things, and you'll be right on the radio with us. This is Awesome Radio. We want you to come right on back with us. We're looking forward to hearing from you.
My name is Jayla, and you're to see to my papa, Glenn Johnson, on the radio.
ORG.
Hello, my name is Dr. Wiley Nifong. Thank you for listening to Awesome Radio, 107.5 FM, 1570 AM, WECU.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Glenn Johnson Show. Motivation with Glenn and Apostle Jacqueline Cullins Williams here on Awesome Radio, 107.5 FM, 1570 AM. We were discussing some local news information for our listening audience. I would like to now go to a document whereas President Biden has sent 500 active duty soldiers to North Carolina for the hurricane relief efforts. I'm not going to read all of it. Wait for my clothes to get to that document. I have her get to some of it. But what's more important to me is he sent an additional 500 active duty troops to North Carolina mountains to address voting problems. So I wonder what kind of voting problems they're having in that particular region, because that would be so important for the upcoming general election. I did reach out to Mr. Calvin Boston and Lady Renee Boston to give them this topic so they can discuss it on this show. Because this is something that might interest the listening audience. Jackie.
Yes. And first of all, Dr. Glenn, we want to just send out our prayers to those that were affected by the hurricane here in North Carolina, Georgia, and Florida, and different places. We just want to let you know that you are in our prayers, and we do have you lifted up, and concerned about you. And we just continue to send our love and send our support. I know that around town there are several stations where they are taking donations. I've seen them with my own eyes, and they are busy, where people are still bringing donations that can be shipped down or that can be taken down to the victims of the hurricane. So we just want to send our prayers and good thoughts towards those that were affected by it. I've never been in a hurricane of that magnitude, and I pray that I never am. I pray that I'm never a part of it. But we know that, a lot of people were displaced. They've lost their homes, they've lost their jobs, they've lost their vehicles, and some have even lost family members during this particular hurricane. And we also understand that there's a hurricane on the way, that there's another one that that the U.S. is going to be hit with back to back. That's a lot. I mean, it's a lot that we need to be praying for, even this upcoming hurricane and the people that will be involved. And we understand that with the one that is coming, that there is a mandatory or a mass. They're very much so urging people to leave the area that will be hit by the hurricane. Dr. Glenn?
Yeah, and we're not going to have time to get to a lot of these documents, so I'm just going to briefly mention what else is going on. But if anybody would like the documents, You get to read it at your own leisure. You can email me at glennjohnsonshow@gmail.com. That's Glenn with two N's, johnsonshow@gmail.com. So also, along with what was going on with the hurricane relief efforts, North Carolina received $100 million in emergency funding for roads, bridges impacted by the hurricane. The funds will help North Carolina Department of Transportation take more immediate action to fund repairs on roads and bridges. Also, FEMA $750 payment for North Carolina storm survivors for immediate needs. More money to follow soon. The source of that, WFMY News 50. No, I'm sorry, News 2. Let me repeat that. WFMY News 2. That record that says FEMA's $750 payments for North Carolina storm survivors for its immediate needs. More money to follow.
Yes, and we hope they give them more money. What is $750 going to really do for you when you have to pay for a hotel? You have to have food, you don't have any clothes, you don't have anything, and everything has been wiped out for you. So we're definitely hoping that they give more than $750. I
Yeah.
know, and when you have to get your own lodging, or it's a lot to start over and you have nothing. $750, I guess it is a start, but that's not a lot of money. At least let's hit 1,000. When we're talking about what was that number you gave for the roads that they were given?
The roads is hold on, just look at the documents.
It was a huge number. Did you say 138 million?
All right, so
How much did you say? It was a
North Carolina residents, North Carolina, not North Carolina residents, but North Carolina receives 100 million in emergency funds for roads and bridges impacted by the hurricane.
$100 million for the roads and bridges, and the people are getting $750. Let's come on up, FEMA. And I know there are a lot of supplies and things that are being sent there to help the people, but let's get those people some more money. I'm sure that there are also fundraisers and things that are being raised for people that they can be able to give them more funds than that. It's just my opinion. I'm just thinking about if it was me, and think about if it was you and you didn't have anything and they just gave you $750.
All right, we have 4 minutes to go before we go to the next break. So I just want to get out some more information before we get to the crust of our topic. So I'm going to mention two other things, and this is relative or related to what Jackie said. So many people have lost a lot of things, a lot of stuff, everything. So Pitt County Sheriff's Office is assisting in the effort too. I think yesterday was their last day of collecting donations and sent to victims in the West, because I was a volunteer helping to collect donations yesterday. And when we got done, I think that was the end of it. But Jackie, if you can read that briefly. And then there'll be one final document.
Yes, the Pitt County Sheriff's Office continues to help Western North Carolina. And it says that the Pitt County Sheriff's Office has continued to do its part in helping out those that have been affected by Hurricane Helen across our state. And it said Monday morning, the sheriff's office sent around a dozen deputies with thousands of dollars in supplies to relieve the 12 other deputies that were stationed in Western North Carolina over the weekend. So this is saying that they have sent more than $20,000. That the shipment went out on Monday at 8:30, and they're expecting another shipment of supplies worth more than $20,000 soon that they will also deploy in the need.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna make mention that I know working my duties yesterday, people were bringing in diapers, pampers, bottles of water, cases of water, sanitary supplies. What else? Hand sanitizer, you name it, they were bringing it in. And then I thought, I have a lot of brand new package of T-shirts that's unopened that I have not opened yet, along with brand new sports jackets and stuff. So I need to clean out my closet, and I might donate some of that stuff to the victims.
Definitely. And Dr. Glenn, I want to acknowledge those churches because there are a lot of churches, and I've seen with my own eyes that some of the churches are distribution centers where they are collecting items and new things. I mean, I saw people with large sacks of things throwing over their shoulders and being brought in, to the churches to be able to be sent out. I saw you all somewhere that was picking up things that people wanted to send down and be able to help those that are victims of the flood. So there are a lot of churches and ministries that are donating. So we're just hoping that, that the people down there are being blessed and that they're receiving what they need and that they're being cared for at this time. Dr. Glenn?
The last document I'm going to meet you about relief efforts is hospitals brace for IV dialysis food shortages after Hurricane Helen shuts down North Carolina producer. The source of that, the News Observer. So I'm not going to read the entire document, but hospitals are bracing for shortages of supplies for dialysis with their main producer being shut down because of Hurricane Helen.
Yes,
So
and also, at these times, they also need blood donations. Hey, we're getting ready to go out on a break and come right back. And Dr. Glenn, you said something earlier. I might have to back up to it, and it was about smoking. So I might have to look at that again, graze over it. We want you to call in today. That number is 252-756-2008. Call in and you'll be on the air if you want to talk about something to do with the hurricane or any of our subject matter here on today. That number is 252-756-2008. This is Awesome Radio. We look forward to hearing from you soon. Call in.
You're listening to Awesome Radio, WECU 107.5 FM, 1570 AM. Christian media with the spirit of excellence.
PM.
We're back. You're listening to The Glenn Johnson Show. You can reach Glenn at glennjohnsonshow@gmail.com.
Hey, we're back and we're glad that you're hanging in there with us. This is Awesome Radio. And we also, before we went to the break, I began to say that it is a good time to do blood donations. Whenever there's a disaster, there's always a need for people that have been injured or those that have been hurt. And it's a great time to give some blood donations. We were talking here about the hospitals that are in the dialysis fluid shortages because of being hit by the hurricane. So there's definitely a need. There's a need now. There's also a FEMA website, Dr. Glenn,
yes,
that you can go and look at the FEMA website. They will also be able to tell you some of the things that if you want to donate, that you can donate to the hurricane victims that were in this current hurricane, and also being prepared for the next one. Dr. Glenn?
and that's why I advise everybody that's listening to email me because the documents that I have do contain several links to several organizations so that you can get help if needed. Now, also before we went out to the break, Apostle Jackie was saying that she had something else that she thought about smoking, and I definitely want to know what that is.
Definitely, Dr. Glenn, and we may have to have his own show But it was something that you said there in your talk when you talked about the smoking, and you said this is a Christian radio broadcast. You know, there's a difference in what the old church used to teach versus what we know now, you know, knowledgeable. The old church used to teach that smoking was a sin. When I grew up, smoking was a sin. You were going to hell for smoking. And that is definitely not the truth. There's a difference between something that's a sin and something that's a weight. And smoking is definitely a weight that holds you back. It's something that can harm your health or something that could do some harm to you, but it's not something that you're going to hell for. And then some people that are struggling with it, we don't want to give Christians the image that if you're struggling with it, that you're less than or that you're going to die and go to hell because you have a smoking habit. It is something that you need to not, you know, you need to be delivered from it, or, you know, it's something that, you know, in the end that can cause, you know, health problems and issues and even death. But it's not something that you can be kept out of heaven with. I just
Well,
wanted to say that.
good,
But it
good.
doesn't
Well,
mean that you're not a Christian because you're struggling with smoking.
all right. I'm glad you just said that because if my mind serves me correctly, and it does, uh, my thought on it is Christians condone smoking because they said you are contaminating the covenant, the sanctuary of God. Our body is a sanctuary. You smoke, you're putting harmful things in our body that should not be in there, and therefore we're contaminating the sanctuary of God.
Definitely. And I mean, it goes and it can be that way. And that also, people believe certain and different things and different types of religious beliefs. They could even believe that about crab, that you are contaminating your body by eating crab or by fish that don't have scales on it. So there's a lot of things that, you know, people can believe that is that you're polluting the temple with. And smoking is definitely has its danger. But I'm just saying, you know, it doesn't mean that you're not a Christian if you're struggling with a smoking habit. Dr. Glenn?
Well, I will mention some other things, but I don't want to offend anybody or challenge anybody's religious beliefs. So I'm going to leave that right where it's at. We're going to move on to our artificial intelligence document.
Definitely. We have several documents, and I have one here that Dr. Glenn I extended on of the other one, but we want to talk about how to spot an artificial intelligence. We spoke in our last broadcast about a video that I particularly saw of one a famous R&B singer, and I sent it to Dr. Glenn so he could see it. And it's an AI creation, and it looks like she's singing it and everything, but it is definitely not her. It sounds like her voice, so they've imitated her voice, and they have her singing this with these cuss words and things that this particular R&B artist would not do. We've never seen her do anything like that. So
Exactly.
we want to look at how to spot a deep fake audio and also the videos. So, but we're going to start here with how to spot a deep fake audio. And so it says that you could tell the difference between, can you tell the difference between the human voice and the AI voice? We know that people are using scams and they're doing different things now. They're imitating people's voices. There have even been videos that have been put out on media that will be a voiceover or an AI creation that make it look like a person said something that they did not say. And so you need to know how to look at those videos and say, okay, this is fake. You know, they even have dogs and cats talking and squirrels and different things, and they're being created with AI videos, even babies saying cuss words that the baby could have not said, but it was someone that thought it was funny and they created an AI video concerning it. Dr. Glenn?
Yeah, not even artificial intelligence, but say for instance, I have several music tracks that I recorded myself. I did my own recording in my own studio rather than, I mean, I did go out to some professional studios, but as a vocalist, I decided to record some of my own material because I knew what kind of effects I wanted and all that type of stuff. So there's one song that I have. I'm doing two different keys that I say tell people. I'm doing it in two different keys because they don't realize that one is my original voice. One I use the software on the computer, a plug-in to change my voice, and it sounds totally different. They don't think it's me. They think it's Anita Baker, Phyllis Harmon, or something. And it's me. I'm serious. You got to listen to it. You'll be like shocked. You be like, that's you. But I don't tell them how I did it. They want to know how I did it. If I tell you I did it, I'm going to have to hurt you.
I just want to say I use no filters for my voice. This is the real me, and this is all you're getting. This is the best that you're getting here.
But in that particular case, I only did that so I could show people some of the things that you could do.
Definitely, there's a lot that can be done, and I'm not opposed to enhancing things. One of the things, ways that you could tell that it's an AI, that it's an AI recording is in its flat speaking tones. Our voice has inflections where we go up higher when we say certain things, or the emotion that we show. It's going to be different on an AI. It's going to be a flat kind of monotone. It's going to kind of sound the same way all the way through. We show emotion and sentiment, and it's difficult to get an AI creation to be able to duplicate those inflections in our voice. Dr. Glenn?
I think, like in the case with the artist you were talking about, somebody had to really, really be involved to get that audio to sound like the original artist or artist, because I think it was a artificial intelligence generated something. It was more or less sound like a computer, but in this particular case, it did not. It sounded like the original artist, so they had to take a lot of effort, a lot of work.
But with the trained ear and knowing what you're looking for, you'll be able to spot that it is. Now, that particular thing was a video. And some of the things that I've read up on or that I'm going to give out today about artificial intelligence on the videos, I did see those things that I was be able to detect that this was an AI creation just by looking at it.
Yeah, but guess what? I think I might have failed to send this to you. Not only did they do her voice in the video, they actually did a photo of her, and it looks just like her, and it's not her. But we haven't mentioned the artist's name. You think we should mention the artist's name of who they were talking about?
We could definitely. I think it would be okay because on our R&B shows we've used that name before. And so it was an AI creation of Aretha Franklin. Now you know, and as well as I know in this audience, that there's not many voices that can imitate Aretha Franklin. There's a
Yeah.
lot that could do Patty, they could do Whitney, and they could do some of the other people. But I've only seen one other person that's able to imitate or that sounds like the Queen of Soul.
And a lot of people should understand it's not her because Aretha Franklin, although she sang many genres of music, the most number one that she did was gospel. So some of the language that's in this particular audio and video, she would not have used. So therefore, you could tell right away, 100% that is not her.
There are also phrases that didn't match with the emotional delivery. And that's what you'll be able to tell by looking at those particular videos that the phrases are not matching. I mean, the emotion and the high pitches that she had, it wasn't matching there in the video. So we want you to come right back. We're going to give you some more clues so you can look and be able to tell what's an AI creation with the voice and also with the video. We'll be right back in a few moments. This is Awesome Radio, and we're looking forward to you coming right back.
Keep it locked right here to the Glenn Johnson Show.
Psalm 34, 17, and 18.
Hello, my name is Hayden. Thank you for listening to Awesome Radio, 107.5 FM, 1570 AM, WECU.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Glenn Johnson Show. Motivations with Glenn and Apostle Jacqueline Cullins Williams. Without delay, we're going to get right back to our topic of discussion because we have some important information to give out to you. So before I bring Apostle Jackie back on, I just want to say, after she completes what she's going to talk about, I think we should move to the security questions and things of that nature because I want to have an open, general conversation without going through some of the documents. I left my documents over on the other side. But I know some of the things we can talk about that. Like the number one for banking stuff. What's your mother's maiden name? That is one I definitely wish they would change. Jackie.
Yes. So one of the other ways you could tell if it's a AI voice creation is slurred or unnatural speech. You have to really be looking and listening to hear that there's some slurs and unnatural speech because this has been artificially created and not something that is natural or the natural flow of the human voice. It says that deepfake audio is created by training the natural language process model on sample recordings. So they're putting these AI creations together by putting together many recordings. And there are times when the timing does not fit, and when they put the next, audio connected to the one that they've recorded previously, that there'll be some lag time or some slurring in that. And that's all you have to do is really listen, and you'll be able to hear those different things and those places where it is not perfect, where they're recording or their creation is not perfect. So AI voices can struggle with unusual or unique words. And so when you see a complex word or a larger word, you'll see that the AI is having trouble pronouncing it. And sometimes it'll skip just like a record and keep saying it over and over again. So that's one of the things that you'll be able to look for is the skip that is happening on the record. It also has a trouble with background noises. When the music and different things are there, with the AI creation, the focus is mostly on the main speaker or the main person that is they want you to focus on. But if it has a background group or a background music that is going there, that's where you can see a lot of the flaws. And in this particular one that we saw with Aretha Franklin, it did have a lot of background flaws. Dr. Glenn?
That's right. As you know, a lot of flaws come up because these things can't do what a human can do. You know, for instance, like things will autocorrect. You might say one thing, it'll put something that you didn't say because it's trying to correct that it think that it what it wants to think that's appropriate when you didn't say what you said. And that could lead to a lot of problems that have caused a lot of divorces and everything because the husband might have texted the wife and that thing might have autocorrect something that he didn't mean to say, and she took offense to it, and now they're not together. You know, that's just one scenario. So sometimes a lot of things with this computer generated stuff is not even worth it. Particularly if your computer gets an update, now it might have changed a lot of parameters in the software, which causes a lot of problems. Um, Another thing is I just don't trust it. My computer updated 2 times between now and about 3 hours ago. I'm like, how could it update 2 times in a row? And you don't know how long it takes to update.
Definitely. One other way, and I just want to give a couple for the AI video. Those that I gave earlier were about the voice recordings, but this is for AI video. And I wanted to give you and let you know that there is a device called a video tool scanner. It's called Deepware Scanner, and it actually will be, you can use this on your computer and you'll be able to scan a video and it'll tell you if it's an AI creation or not.
Oh, really?
Yes, so it analyzes frame by frame for inconsistencies. And so it'll tell you that this is not consistent with, being a video, that this is something that's been put together, which is a great tool. I think it's a great malware to have also on your computer. So, we need to know the truth. We need to know what we're looking at. Did this person say this? In this time now of the political arena where people are saying that one said something and they didn't say it, or they're trying to make another one look bad, or even sometimes on these online things that we're seeing being created. Sometimes the person haven't said that or did what they're showing on the video, but they have it up there like it's the truth. And
That's
people are
right.
eating it right up, like they actually saw this person do this, or like they actually, oh, I saw it on a video, and we saw them do that. And some of the stuff is absolutely out of the wicked mind of man.
Yeah, because a lot of people see that stuff like you said earlier, and they got it down back, whereas the person appears to be just as a perpetrator trying to portray. And it sounds just like him too. So a lot of people say, "Oh no, I saw it, I heard him, I saw him," but that wasn't the real person. That's what they can't get through their head. That wasn't a real person. That was AI generated.
And we're living in a time where seeing is not believing. Because just because you saw it there doesn't mean that it's the truth. One of the other things that it does, and Dr. Glenn, we'll all, those of us that are older, will be able to connect with this particular issue with AI. And this was happening back in the 70s when I was a child. It's facial and lip syncing. So the face and the lip movement and the sound will be different. Do you remember the old Kung Fu movies? When we would watch them and they did the voiceovers and did it in
Yeah,
English,
yeah,
and the English is ended and the voice is still talking.
yeah,
The mouth is still moving. Well,
yeah,
this happens also with AI with the false videos. The sound will be done and the lips will still be moving, or the facial expressions are off from the sound of the voice. So we all can actually we can all identify with that. So you need to
and
just look closely at the videos you're looking at.
and you know why I'm so concerned about all this artificial intelligence, and that is because our children, our young adults, are computer aged now, computer savvy. They're doing a lot of things digital, a lot of things on the computer, a lot of things online. So I'm concerned about their safety and well-being.
Blinking and facial movements. A lot of times the AIs, and I've seen some that they've shown, and the person wasn't blinking. They were just sitting there staring. There was one that was made of former President Barack Obama, and he was not blinking the whole time. And this was an AI creation where they put his voice there to make it look like he was saying something on a video that he was not. And he just was not blinking.
Can I ask you a question I just thought about?
Sure.
Can you text somebody in cursive, just writing? There's another word for cursive is writing. You know how you just write something in cursive. Can you do that?
I don't think you can write in cursive texting. No, because it just uses plain, it doesn't go
It,
in cursive.
it just use plain. Yeah, it just use plain lettering, right?
Yes.
Jackie, 2 minutes.
Also, I wanted to say that California has enacted an anti deep fake legislation. So there are some places where they're trying to make it against the law for you to put that AI up there and deceive people. But it says constitutionally these laws may be challenged. So right now it's showing that there's some laws people are taking that certain jurisdictions are creating laws to stop the fakeness and stop this AI. The trouble that it's causing, like Dr. Glenn said, in marriage. Can you imagine somebody getting your spouse's voice and doing an AI of it and trying to make it seem like they were doing something or saying
Yeah,
something that they were not? That's an awful thing. And people are vindictive like that. Sometimes people's heart is their heart is not righteous and they'll
and
do things like that.
and the reason why it's going to be challenged is because people don't understand when something is for your benefit, you have to let it go forward. They think the government is trying to do bad when they're actually trying to do good. So of course there's going to be challenges because they just don't want to participate in something that's good.
Yes. We're getting ready to go out on another break here. I have one more thing when we return, Dr. Glenn, to talk about with the AI about the facial, distortions and different things. Hope that today we're giving you a lot of information that you'll be able to look at those videos and at least let it cross your mind through discernment and you begin to wonder, is this thing real or is this thing fake? We want you to be able to recognize and know the truth. The Bible says that you should know the truth and the truth shall make you free.
I
We need to know
confirm.
the truth.
I confirm.
We need to know what's real and we need to know what's fake out here. And we need to be walking in the truth. And we need to be able to look at that and say, okay, this thing is fake. So we're getting ready to come back for a break. This is Awesome Radio. We want you to return right with us. We have more information in a moment.
One evolution.
DavidRives.com.
My name is Jayla, and you're to see to my papa, Glenn Johnson, on the radio.
Welcome back ladies and gentlemen, to Awesome Radio, 107.5 FM, 1570 AM, WECU. Also 100.3 Rocky Mount. And we still have our 106.9 FM. That's our Spanish speaking now. So I know Apostle Jackie has one other thing to mention about AI. So I'm going to give it right back to her.
Yes, Dr. Glenn. I wanted to just mention here that also with the videos, the background distortions will happen, just like with the voice background distortions. But with the AI videos, the distortions will be like flickering lights, or it'll be an unusual shift, like the video has stalled a little bit. It'll also be show shifts in the background that are unnatural, or the scenery. And I saw one today, Dr. Glenn, and we know one, Cicely, I think her name is Cicely Houston.
Yeah.
Whitney's mother, that she passed away. And there's some AI creations because of the death, merging videos of, Whitney and the mother and the daughter together. And so with those AI creations, when the head was turned to the side of one of them, I could see that this was not even them. So they had to use somebody else's face and merge it on there, or plaster it over to somebody's face or head that was turned to the side to be able to create that video.
Yeah, they either cropped it or masked it.
Mm-hmm. And so it's those type of inconsistencies that you'll be able to see with that. I also wanted to say, Dr. Glenn, before we end our broadcast, that Google uses AI generated answers. Now, sometimes, especially for those of us that use these things and we're looking up things for our Bible classes and different things, you need to make sure that those answers that you're getting are correct. Because some of the AI generated things are coming from other sources than just the King James Bible or whichever Bible you want to use. It's coming from all different places. And some of that information, you're going to have to second guess it and look at it.
Yeah, I think somebody had hacked into Amazon. It had to be because, like if you purchase something on Amazon and then you go to check out and it says, other people who have bought this item also bought this. Well, there was a CD that the artist had on Amazon that was selling, and the CD was actually bad. So when the person checked out, it said other people that have bought this item also bought a gun.
Okay. They bought a gun because the item was good.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it, Dr. Glenn.
Probably intended to, probably trying to infer.
It takes me a minute. I'm not too smart.
Yeah, probably trying to infer that if you buy this CD, you might want to consider shooting yourself. That was bad.
Or you just shot yourself in the foot. That's what they say.
Or you just shot yourself. That's right, Jackie.
Yeah, you made a mistake. You just shot yourself in the foot. Shot your own foot. That's something.
Anyway, we have 6 minutes. I want to talk about some of the security question answers. Like I just said, I think that some of them should be changed because they're so ordinary now. Like your banking account security question. Some of the questions down there, people might very well know because they know you. For instance, what's your mother's maiden name? I think that should definitely be taken out of there. Also, what street did you grow up on? What was your first high school? Now, the reason why I'm concerned about that, if for a male, you trying to date a female, you going out on a date, all of a sudden she turns to you and asks you all kinds of questions like that. And you'll be like, wait a minute, are you trying to reset my password? So that's why you have to use caution. I forgot one other thing. I want to take it over to Apostle Jackie.
Definitely. Do we want to do this now? Last week we talked about, and I think it was last week, we talked about and mentioned that Dr. Glenn had received a message from someone who had asked the question, and the question was, do you have to be baptized to enter into heaven? That's the exact question there. And I don't know that we gave anything on the air that day. We said we would come back and talk about it. And so I think it's a great discussion question. here, as well as some of the other things we may have talked about today or grazed over that may need some more in-depth study. But I want to give the answer that I know from the Word of God. Now, the Bible does say, teaching them to observe all things and baptizing them in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. So I want to say two things concerning this. Making it into heaven, I do not believe that you have to be baptized to make it into heaven. And the reason that I say that, I base it upon the thief that was upon the cross. Because Jesus, in his dying on the cross, there was a thief that was there, and he believed on Jesus. And Jesus said, "This day shall you be with me in paradise." They didn't have time to take the thief off the cross and take him to the water and baptize him. He went ahead and he died there on the cross just the same as Jesus did. And he was not baptized.
And I don't recall the scripture, but I did see that in scripture. Now, like you said, this is important for the person that emailed me and for our listening audience. So, with the permission of the station owner, after I contact her and with Jackie's approval, I would like to do a topic on that, because I know you as an apostle has a better view or answer than I do. So I got to do a little more research. But after I do, if we get approval from Miss Aquila, then we'll do the topic on that.
Okay, and I want to say this. It's just like, and I'm saying that you don't have to be baptized to make it into heaven, but it is good to be baptized.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying that, in the Bible, baptism was a sign, it was an outward sign of your new life and your new regeneration in Jesus Christ, that you have been born again. It symbolizes the death of your old life and the resurrection in your new life in Christ. And so it's good to have it. It's good if you can't do it because of medical reasons or something that is wrong, or that you can't get to the water, or you're not able to do it, then I know that God understands. You're still going to be able to make it to heaven. But if you can, it's a great experience to have.
Yeah, and like you said, you have left their old life, into a new life. So now you have created an everlasting covenant with God. Is that correct, Jackie?
That's right. And it says that we are born of the water, the spirit, and the blood. So the water is the water baptism. It symbolizes washing away our sins, that our sins have been washed away. And going down, we've submerged the old life and we've come up in the new. I think it's a great symbolism. It's a great event to do. I was baptized in Jerusalem. I was baptized more than once. Now, in that subject, we're going to have to talk about, is there one faith, one Lord, and one baptism? Are you only supposed to be baptized one time?
Yeah, we got to talk about that.
We're going to have to get into this subject.
So hopefully we'll get approval to talk about it, since I have you with me as my co-host.
Mm-hmm.
We have 2 minutes, then we'll end the broadcast.
Yes, so I want to say again that the thief on the cross did not get baptized. There's probably a lot of people that gave their life, and even now, I believe that there's people that were on their deathbed and gave their life over to the Lord, and they didn't get baptized, and they were allowed to go in, because God will show mercy on whomever he wills, and his mercy is not conducive only to being baptized. His mercy is conducive to him loving them. And so that's what I want to say. You don't have to be baptized to make it into heaven. Dr. Glenn?
Yeah, I kind of figured that out. We'll touch the subject when we get approval from Ms. Aquila to do the broadcast on it. So with that being said, Jackie, I'll let you close us out with the last 60 seconds.
Yes, we want to again just admonish everyone to pray for those that are going to be up in this upcoming hurricane, and that you would keep them in your prayers and keep them on your mind and lift them up before the Lord for their safety, and for those that are in need and those that have already been through the hurricane. We want to say to you, thank you for coming on and listening to our broadcast on today. This is Awesome Radio. We know that you were given some good things about AI videos and about AI recordings. We know that you have been blessed with this broadcast on today. Dr. Glenn?
I want to thank everybody for tuning in. May the Lord Savior Jesus Christ take a liking to you. May God continue to bless each and every one of you. And thank you for tuning in to the Glenn Johnson Show here on Awesome Radio, 107.5 FM, 1570 AM. And remember, as I leave this broadcast today, if I'm not on your radio, or if Awesome Radio is not on your radio just isn't on. So thank you for tuning in. God bless you all.
This is Viewpoint.